You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, I would say that game is a lot like how I have felt over the last 24 hours. All of it sucked as the Astros get dominated tonight by Logan Gilbert and the Seattle Mariners. Welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are live on YouTube. Locked On Sports Houston is the page to join us every single night. The Astros falling in this one 5-0, which stinks. Absolutely stinks. You hate it. It is what it is. You move on from it. You have to go try and win this series tomorrow. Tonight's show, by the way, is brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. So the Astros tonight get nothing at the plate. Absolutely nothing at the plate. And look, these nights are going to happen. You have to go out there and you have to tip your cap to Logan Gilbert for being fantastic. He was awesome. He went out and spotted his pitches, and I do appreciate those the comments there. And even those of you that made the comments last night. So we didn't do a show last night, just so you know. I don't know what happened to me, but I got some sort of stomach bug, and let me tell you something. I woke up this morning 7 pounds lighter than I did yesterday. I'm still not 100%. We're going to fight through this. I'm exhausted is the best way to put it. And the Astros made me fight to stay awake tonight while watching that baseball game. So it would be nice if they would have given us a win. They did not give us a win. These nights, of course, do happen. Logan Gilbert, though, you tip your cap. He was just great. I think it's more of that than anything else tonight. Yeah, there's guys in the Astros lineup that have been bad recently. We've gone through them a lot. Whether it's Alex Bregman continuing to be terrible, which tonight he got on base at least a couple of times. Jordan's been bad. Hey, he got 2 hits tonight, but they were a little bunt hit and that little dinky hit there at the end of the game as well. So the Astros only have 3 hits tonight. You can't even really talk much about it. Again, it was a whole lineup worth of problems tonight. It's 12-21 now in the season. I'm not going to overanalyze this loss because if they come back out tomorrow and they win, then it's okay. Because the goal, as they have said, is to win series, correct? You got to go take 2 of 3, and they're going to try to take 2 of 3 tomorrow in the rubber match. You have to just completely shake this thing off and move on to tomorrow. It's easier said than done. I get that, but, that offensive performance that just popped up right there cannot continue into tomorrow's baseball game. That's for sure. The at-bats, and I get the game plan tonight. I think a lot of people get irritated at times at the Astros, like, oh, they just look at first pitch strikes, or, oh, all they do tonight they were swinging first pitch a lot. And I think for good reason. I mean, the numbers prove it out. Logan Gilbert throws, I think it's the highest percentage or like the top 3 highest percentages in baseball of first pitch strikes. And when you throw first pitch strikes like that, I mean, why wouldn't you go up there? So I'm never going to be mad at a hitter for going out there and trying to get a pitch they can hit. If they get a pitch they think they can hit, first pitch, take a hack. Take a hack. I mean, you'd like to run the starter out of there. Sure, it does help the opposing pitcher get into a groove of the game when you just, get quick outs. And they did a lot of that early. And his pitch counts and innings were never very high. And look, he went 8 innings tonight. It definitely, I can get why it might irk you at times that they go out and they have that game plan. But with him tonight, I didn't really have that much of an issue with it. I just have an issue with the execution. I think that he's pitching, and the Mariners staff, I mean, they're on a run right now. I think it's like 20-plus games, quality starts. We've known this. We've all watched the Astros play them now for years, and they've got pitching. They do. They've got starting pitching. Bullpen has always been a little bit of a question for them at times, but their starting pitching has always been legit. And as these guys mature and get further into their big league careers, they're going to get better. And we've seen that with the Astros pitchers too. I mean, look at Framber. Framber was bad early on and he turned into a good. Now Framber's night tonight we'll talk about in just a little bit because it wasn't very good. But there's growth that's going to happen. And Gilbert's got that kind of stuff. And he's added that splitter to the mix that makes him even more lethal. And he's a tough one to crack. And the Astros showed every bit of that tonight against him. It just stinks that you have these nights on a night after you get a victory, the night before in comeback fashion. Just simple as that. The Astros haven't been good this year. I think they were 0-6 this season in those kind of situations where they were after 6 innings, and then last night they broke it, which is great. And tonight, there was no chance. They couldn't touch a baseball at all. Hey, at least if they're going to lose quickly, right? They lost quickly. They lost way less than 3 hours. You're never going to get me mad at losing in 2.5 instead of 3. So thank you to the Astros for that, I guess. Silver linings. Do you have a silver lining for this baseball game? Throw it in the comments. I don't think that there is any. I really don't. I was able to do a postcast show today because I ate my first meal during the game tonight in about 30 hours. So that was good. That was a positive. I don't have a lot of other positives. Brandon Belak was a positive tonight. He went out there and tossed you. How many innings did he toss? 3 shutout innings out of the bullpen. Saved a pin. There you go. Positive of the night. Taylor Scott, positive of the night. He two-thirds innings scoreless, and his ERA is below 2. Positive. I like that one from Anonymous. No injuries. That's true. That's positive. What are your positives? If you have them, throw them our way. I feel better about the Astros, where they're at right now than where they were just a couple of weeks ago. Health-wise, they're getting around. Still not enough signs offensively at times that they're going to be figuring it out consistently. But don't screw around tomorrow. Don't lose tomorrow's game. Plain and simple. Let's talk Framber Valdez. It was a rough night for him. The Mariners' game plan was pretty clear. And unlike the Astros' game plan against Logan Gilbert, the Mariners went out there and executed said game plan, and they got to Framber all night long. But first, let me tell you again about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed to Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts that you need and the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, it's the Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm in my recovery mode here on the show. I'm battling back from missing last night's game. I started off in my dungeon here that I do the show freezing cold, and now I'm hot, to be honest with you, with this hoodie on. So we're going to just tough this thing out for the rest of the show. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to the YouTube page, please hit subscribe. If you have not, or if you're listening to this on podcast, which you can search for this anywhere that you get podcasts, search Locked On Astros, you'll find this show and the Locked On Astros show. Go ahead and do that, and you can go over to the YouTube page, Locked On Sports Houston, and click subscribe as well. I greatly appreciate every single one of you that has hit that subscribe button so far. Framber Valdez tonight gets roughed up, right? Not very good. He goes out there and gives the Astros, look, he was battling through it for the most part. Obviously, they're in the 6th. He gives up the home run. It makes the overall number look bad at 5 runs given up on the night. He was, if he comes out of there after 5, it's fine. He had given the Astros a chance. It wasn't going to matter. They weren't going to win that baseball game tonight based off the way that they couldn't touch a baseball at the plate. But I'm not going to get too crazy with the evaluation of Framber. A couple starts back in, of course, from the injured list. I thought he did a really good job of managing his way through the game in Mexico City and pitching a lot better in that environment than I expected him to. And I just think it's going to take a second to ease in, to get yourself going. I do think it's interesting now that we've seen one little nugget here the last couple of times that these guys have pitched. Fromber and Justin Verlander have been caught by Victor Caratini. Coincidence? I don't know. Hopefully somebody's going to ask that question, to Joe Espada at some point. Maybe the more veteran, maybe the pitchers are going to start getting their say of having the more veteran guy behind the plate. Or maybe, you want to have Caratini back there for Fromber because he'll be able to handle the Fromber meltdown when the Fromber meltdown comes, whatever that might be. Hopefully it doesn't come. Again, his stuff, I think, so far this season compared to where it was last year where it wasn't great all the time, it looks good. He's throwing 96, 97. His sinker's moving. But the clear plan tonight for the Mariners was, and you heard them talk about it on the broadcast, that what Scott Service had told them was that, hey, sit back and try and just feed everything out to right field. And that's what they did. That's all they did. I guess you're looking for a concerning area with Fromber. It's still a little bit more stuff in the air than he typically gives up. I mean, he gives up a home run there. He's never been a guy that gives up, home runs like crazy. But, he's giving up the ball in the air a little bit more. I don't love that. It'd be nice if he was just ground ball, which he does. And you're always going to live with a little bit of danger with Fromber. You're going to have to be okay with it. Simple as that, because he, is a guy that he's got the kind of stuff that he is capable of getting out of it at any moment. One ground ball. I mean, look at his first inning. He got a strikeout and a double play or something, or a double play, then a strikeout, I think is what it was after he put the first couple of guys on. You would just like to see some starts where there's less traffic. I give Seattle this. They've seen him a lot. They're very familiar with him, like the Astros are with Gilbert. And some of the Astros players have good numbers against Gilbert. I mean, coming into tonight, Jose Altuve had like a 450-something average against him. But it wasn't his best of nights. I'll give him a couple more starts before I start to hit any kind of panic mode on it. I don't think that you could sit here and definitively say that he's going to have a good year, he's going to have a bad year. I think he's looked okay so far overall. Not great, not good, just okay at times. He had one really good start before he went on the injured list. So there is that. It's just the things that the ebbs and flows of a Fromber start, a Fromber season. We all know how there's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. Simple as that. And I do think at times, and you're seeing it when he's throwing 96, 97, somebody's got to remind him just to slow down a little bit. He doesn't need to throw that hard all the time. They're going to swing and miss at the 94-mile-an-hour fastball that sinks, and they're going to pound that thing into the ground at 94 just like they are when it's 97. It's okay if you dial it back just a little bit. It'll be just fine. Hopefully he gets to that point with this Astros team at some point, because or somebody says that to him, because they could utilize that, or they would like to have the best version of Fromber back, because if they could get best version of Fromber, best version of Justin Verlander, and it looked like they were getting best version of Christian Javier before he went down, and he had a start, by the way, with the Corpus Christi Hooks tonight. Gave up 3 runs, and I think three and a third with the Hooks. If they could get the best out of those 3, they've got a really solid top of the staff. And I don't want to discount Ronel Blanco at all, because he's been the best starter on the team so far. And he's pitched like a guy that's at the top of the rotation, plain and simple. So hopefully Fromber, again, finds his way through it a little bit and figures it out when it comes to having a little bit more consistency, and all is good there. Let's talk about tomorrow's baseball game as well, because tomorrow, kind of a big deal. The Astros, they really need to get a victory in this one. Let's look at the game tomorrow, what it's going to take, and how important is it must win? The good old famous question next. But right now, I want to tell you, fine folks, about PrizePicks. Are you playing PrizePicks yet? Well, if you aren't, why not? I ask you this all the time. Play PrizePicks. It's fun. It's great. It's a good time. And it makes games more interesting. Maybe you will have a game, like there's NBA action going on, like me, and you want to get the more or less going. You do that. We're obviously into the full-on baseball season. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the Diamond in your prize pick entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your prize picks entry today. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on prize picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's LOCKEDONMLB as the code when you download the PrizePicks app for a first deposit match up to $100. And right now, before we get back to our Astros discussion, I want to tell you about Monopoly Go. It's all right, game off. We got to pause here to talk about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that, but you know what? There is just so much good stuff in this game. At Monopoly Go, you can team up with your friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get it. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing prices to travel boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench and download it now, free on the Google Play or the App Store. Game on. All right, so typically we're about a 30-minute show when we do these Locked On Postcast shows, these Locked On Astros Postcasts, and I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. We're not going to go 30 minutes tonight. I don't have the stamina for it after last night. I'm not going to lie to you right now. I'm a little bit gassed, but we're fighting through it, and I appreciate you guys watching. Unfortunately, the Astros lost tonight, and it probably doesn't help. It's just as simple as that. But again, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe on the YouTube page. If you're listening to this on podcast, you can get this anywhere that you get your podcast. Go search for Locked On Astros, and you can go and click, or you can get those podcasts anywhere for free, this one or the Locked On Astros podcast. And then, again, on top of that, go to Locked On Sports Houston for the YouTube page every single day. Tomorrow, needing the win. The Astros absolutely need the win. You know, I think until they get back to being a 500 baseball team, which I'm hopeful that they will. I can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee that. Nobody can guarantee that. But if they can get back to that, then I'll stop saying you need must-win games in the middle of May. But, like, against this team, the Mariners team, where you're going to still have 4 more games against them in this month of May, it's important. It's important to remind them that, you know, you've always handled them pretty well, that you've been the team that's run this division, and they've got, you know, they've been a decent early start. They really haven't hit the baseball this year at all. But they're a team that looks like they could be a problem, clearly, in the American League West. They could win the division with the starting pitching that they have, no doubt about that. I think tomorrow you got to get that win, not only for that, but also from the standpoint of it's another series win. And you have to stack these series wins on top of series wins every chance that you get. You can't keep losing series and expect to one day all of a sudden, you know, fart your way back to 500 baseball. It just won't happen. They will hit the point at some point where it's too far in. As simple as that. I mean, we're well over 30 games now. You don't have the kind of, even though it's a 162 game season, you don't have that kind of luxury to just do whatever you want for the entire season and really hope for it. Tomorrow's pitching matchup for this one, again, should be a good one, at least for the Mariners side of it. Bryce Miller, Hunter Brown going for the Astros. I don't know what to expect out of him. If he can get out of the first inning unscathed, maybe they'll have a chance. Maybe he has a chance because the Mariners overall haven't hit the baseball a lot this year. But I'm also expecting Hunter Brown to go out there and give up about 9 runs in the first inning. So we'll see exactly what happens with him. Again, we'll do this show after the game tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have another, 24 hours or close to 24 hours of rest time with me. We'll do a full show and, enjoy a win would be my preference for that. But again, thank you for joining us tonight for the Locked On Astros Postcast. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Talk to y'all tomorrow after the Sunday finale against the Mariners.